The town moor is 349 acres of open space, hundreds of metres away from Newcastle city centre. This is a land where cows graze and people enjoy nature. However, for 1 week a year, this verdant landscape transforms into something much different. It becomes Europe's largest funfair. This isn't just a recent event. A funfair has been held on this very spot for over 100 years. The history of the Hoppings dates back to when the town moor held a racecourse. This site was used to hold a yearly race week. This was far from the family fun of the Hoppings. Instead, the events involved drinking, gambling and debauchery. Between 1721 and 1881, this event used to attract 50,000 visitors. A two-storey grandstand was the centre of all this action, which held a public tavern which operated throughout the summer. The race week was held on the site until 1881, when the racecourse, and with it the race week, moved to Gosforth Park. At the time, the temperance movement was gaining momentum. The word temperance comes from the Latin word temperare, which means to moderate or to restrain. Temperance movement in the UK began in the early 19th century, and gained momentum throughout the century. The movement was focused on promoting abstinence from alcohol and encouraging moderation in all aspects of life. It was seen as a response to the perceived negative effects of alcohol on society, including poverty, crime and family breakdown. The council set up a funfair in 1882 to curtail the rowdy and alcoholic elements of Newcastle's race week. This was in stark contrast to the events of the race week. First Hoppings was a moderate affair in comparison. This included circus acts and displays, as well as some rides. This brought in over 150,000 visitors. Following the success, it was decided to repeat the following year, and this brought in even more visitors. The only times when the Hoppings was not held on the town moor was between 1914 and 1924. This was said to be to a dispute between the freemen of Newcastle, who essentially governed the use of the moor, and the travelling fairmen. During these years, the Hoppings was held down in Jesmond Vale. Some other sources say that due to the town moor being used as a military barracks and airfield was another reason for its removal. The record attendance of the Hoppings was some 1.25 million in 1979, which included 26,000 cars parked on the moor. The Hoppings continues to be held to this day. The main events are now fairground rides which travel around Europe. For 1 week a year, this turns this verdant landscape into one of thrills and entertainment. But after all these years, is the event still a temperance festival? The Hoppings has continued to evolve beyond its original idea of restraint and moderation. 2022 was the first year that the Hoppings included its own bar. This demonstrated a stark change from the original purpose of the festival, but shows the event has continued to adapt to the times in order to survive.